Hey YouTube, this is Minnesota here. I'm going to explain and what have happened to these phony or fraud YouTubers, feeders of Pokemon Classic Collection and some other which we don't even know yet. Well, I'm quite glad you asked because the company itself, like the Pokemon company and Game Freak, are not listening to the fans because instead they just listen to Nintendo. And you, the owner, you just pissed the company off that way. And then what happened to the YouTube videos and channels? Well, it got removed and demolished by YouTube after they got contacted by Game Freak. The Pokemon company, Nintendo, was not happy. And you know what happened when they're not listening? They just noticed that and they're not happy. Because Pokemon Classic Collection, also I can tell, it was too expensive to create like that way, because how the hell Game Freak supposed to evolve Pokemon Classic Collection? They're not made with a bloody money. And how the hell is supposed to afford that? Because let me go and show you the Pokemon company in money they had, or the Game Freaks I will say that, because riches or not like that way, that nonsense is needed to cut back. If you look at Game Freak, the company who made Pokemon franchise, if you can see number location 1 and had 207 employees, and also I can tell that money the company had. I need to take a look like that. $115 billion total. And yes, because it was very small money that company had. Doesn't matter if they're rich or not like that way. But unfortunately, they can't afford Pokemon on Classic Collection doing that, because it's wasted up all the time and money. Because if it had Pokemon Classic Collection like that way, then it would end up costing Game Freaks to bankrupt. And I'm not kidding, because after that, then Nintendo doesn't even know what we're gonna do with Pokemon games, just like Moonshine, where they doesn't even know what going to do with Minecraft Story Mode like that way, because it will be really struggling to work on it that way. And let me show you what happened to the YouTube videos. It got demolished by YouTube for being a bloody fraud and phony. They're not listening, but they just bugger off. Yes, they got taken down by YouTube after got contact from very angry company like Game Freak, Pokemon Company, and Nintendo, because they're not happy and they're absolutely so fuming at their fans. So what happened? It got taken down. And you know how the fans feel by that way, not happy, but well, that's what you bloody get for being a fraud and a phony, for bloody a Classic Collection bloody nonsense, and you completely a fraud. The company is not made with the money to have Classic Collection, and you're wasting a company's time like that way. So what we're going to do about that if we don't have a Pokemon Classic Collection? Well, because that's not going to happen, because there's no Pokemon Classic Collection, because it's just all fake. And company cannot afford that. If we had that, then it would cost them Game Freak to bankrupt. And they're not blockading like that way, because it was too much money like that way. So what we're going to do about these Pokemon Gen 1 through 5, where they were going to get ported to Nintendo Switch Online instead in this year, by Nintendo to prevent the company bankruptcies. Because in next month it's gonna be Pokemon Day, and you have to be a wait and see first until next month, on late February of this year. Because if you like it or not like that way, because the company cannot afford Classic Collection. That's why you do not waste the company's time like that way and money for the Classic Collection nonsense. Because I'm really quite glad YouTube to put the stop with a bloody nonsense like that. You're all just complete fraud. You really are like that way. Apple is a fraud. So in Pokemon Day next month for 13th anniversary of Pokemon, they're going to be Pokemon Generation 10, which we don't know yet or what the region is going to take place in, but we'll have to wait and see first. As for Pokemon Gen 1 to 5 games, it will go and get a port onto Nintendo Switch 2 online instead of the Classic Collection, because it'll prevent and Game Freak from bankruptcies. Is because we don't want the company went bankrupt, because it would be really disastrous if the Game Freak does get bankrupt after release of Classic Collection. Then it's wasted by the money, and this Game Freak will end up making the face. And Nintendo doesn't even know what we're going to do with Pokemon itself that way. Because Game Freak is just one company in Japan, and that's it. The one who made Pokemon franchise. Because $115 billion, it doesn't even matter.
Well, stop overthinking, right? Don't talk about that stuff, right? That's no war.
If we think that company will afford the Classic Collection, they cannot even afford that, because £1 billion or not that way, it still counts out the bankruptcy if you had Classic Collection. And that's not fair. That's not fair on the fans out there, and it's wasting a company's time when they try to work on Gen 10 that way. If you like it or not that way, that's tough. Because they cannot afford Classic Collection. Because do you think that Game Freak made with any kind of money despite it being a billionaire? Absolutely not, because it felt easily get bankrupt very quickly and felt easily after release of Classic Collection, and it would end up causing a bloody chaos like that way. It's not Game Freak's fault, it would be your own bloody fault. And that nonsense of yours, I'm really quite glad that YouTube had to put to stop with the bloody nonsense like that, because Game Freaks and Pokemon Company is not listening to you, but instead they just listen to Nintendo to get Pokemon Generation 1 to 5 games onto the Switch online instead, if you like it or not like that way. Just like how they did on last 10 years or 3 years Virtual Console to prevent bankruptcies of the Game Freaks like that way, because the company will not be bloody tolerate of the fans to be a fraud. Because you charge a bunch of bloody phony you will are. And what happened to Taylor Leaks, you may ask? Well, the Taylor Leaks was also got taken down by internet after it got contacted by Game Freaks, Pokemon Company and Nintendo as well that way. So I do not even trust that Taylor Leaks, because it's just all phony. So do not even do that ever again now after your video got demolished like that way, because guys, you know what happened, but you carry on for Pokemon Classic Collection nonsense again like that way. It's make everything worse, not better, but it's make everything worse. And you should be absolutely ashamed to yourself like that way to be a fraud. And what happened by that Pokemon spin-off game that Dedo and like that way? Well, the pre-order will going to get cancelled as your bloody punishment from both internet eShop and online shop as your punishment for being a fraud. So I'm really so glad YouTube had to take it down now, because it's all bloody phony and fraud, they really are. Pokemon Classic Collection, no chance, because the Game Freaks cannot afford that. It was too much money and it's too much time, and it can cause a company bankruptcies. So you have to trust me about that way, because they cannot do that in Classic Collection, because instead it will get a Nintendo Switch Online port instead, if you like it or not, like that way. If you're not happy, that's tough. So that's enough with the bother nonsense like that way, and move on until you finally change your way and to avoid getting into trouble like that way. The Pokemon Day will be on next month in late of February of this year, and we're going to see the Gen 10 and Pokemon Generation 1 to 5 will be put on Nintendo Switch Online instead, if you like it or not, like that way. There's nothing else can do about that way, because the company is the one who decided to aid, because you are not a boss of the company, but whoever is the boss of the company, let me tell you.
Right, stop stuff in my mouth. Right, you sound like a bit more of that. You should stop fight time. Get off that stuff now. Nobody doesn't
Satoshi Techery is a boss of the Game Freaks, and it's up to them who decide and like that way. And what we're going to do with that Pokemon Gen 1 to 5 games, it will go and get ported and switched to online instead, so it'll prevent the Game Freaks bankruptcies. So, because Nintendo doesn't even want the bloody risk. And that's pretty much it about that way, because, so, what do you guys think about these phony or fraud YouTubers' own feed that got demolished by YouTube like that way? Well, it's full of the best, because they just piss off the company, like the Game Freak, Pokemon company, and Nintendo. So you know what they're going to do about that way? They contact on YouTube to get rid of these phony videos by the idiotic fans like that way.
Don't talk about that well. Stop, or I can sit down while.
So it's best just move on and hoping just change your bloody way, if you like it or not. So please leave comments below. Please subscribe and follow me in my TikTok, my Twitch, my Discord, and my Patreon channels, and click that before notification. Peace, minute shorts. I hope you enjoy it. Peace, minute shorts.